and talk about ideas around directories, because when I think of directories, to me, you're like the directory king. And I just want you to talk about like why are you building directories, and do you have any specific ideas that you can give away around directories?
I had passion for directories for many years, I would say. And 2 years ago, I had a team and we were discussing directories, and I wanted to go full into that stuff. And my team said, like, look, this is an obsolete stuff. Like, nobody does directories. It was cool in 2017, but not anymore. And I was like, no, I don't think so. But I wasn't sure to actually, follow my own idea. So I didn't start, and then I start later, like just last year.
So is the idea there, I'm going to go find validated English directories, and then I'm just going to apply let's say French. I'm going to apply my language, French, to it, and then localize it to, for example, France and Canada and Senegal and French-speaking countries. Is that the idea?
Yeah, exactly. Because there are a lot of people who don't speak English in those countries. Actually, most people don't. And people say, like, those who don't speak English, they are not in tech. It's not true.
Totally.
A lot of people speak only French or prefer French, and they build within there, and they have large market too. And eventually, at some point, they go international when things go bigger, right?
Why not just take something that's working and apply it to a local market? I think it makes a lot of sense. And again, this is not something that we're reinventing. Do you remember Rocket Internet?
Yeah, exactly. That
Rocket
was their
Internet,
living, right?
Yeah, right. Those guys in Germany that basically would look at popular Silicon Valley startups that raised a ton of money and be like, okay, great, eBay is popping off in the US. Let's go create the eBay for North Africa.
Yeah.
And it was a brilliant idea. I think their downfall a little bit was that they went public, but like the idea of like Rocket Internet not, cash flowing makes a lot of sense. I think like that's a huge idea. So this is John, I hope you're given a really good idea over here.
I mean, the best part about directories is that most people don't appreciate is that it's very little tech. So it's easy. The building part is really easy. Like in the Rocket Internet, they had to put a lot of money into that. And here it's like, if there's one thing you could do where you don't need money, but you need your own time, that's a directory, right? Because it needs time to make the quality of the content good and promote it, but it doesn't need time for building it, which is like, it just needs a little bit of time comparing to SaaS tools.
Absolutely. So you were saying, before I got really excited about that idea, that you had a second idea around directories. What was that?
Yeah. So the second idea about directories is that it's not particular directory, it's just the method that I apply myself very often. And it just works. I mean, it works so well that I feel it can't be true that it just works almost every time. Is when you search for a keyword on Google Ad Planner, it's a free tool, like it's ads.keyword planner, something like that. And you search for keywords around random topics, and then you find a keyword that has high traffic, and then you search for that keyword on Google, and only blog posts are shown on the top. That's the idea. Like, you just build a directory around that, and Google really likes directories, and eventually you will get to the top 2. So it's kind of soulless. So you don't pick the idea that you like, but you can actually pick the ideas you like and test them for traffic. But overall, when I do that, I don't use any of my own judgment, because then I tend to pick the idea that's not so good. It has little traffic, but I think it's good. And my intuition never works. And that's the thing. Like, I think with directory ideas, intuition always fails, because when you test, it turns out the opposite. So in my directories, all directories I had high hopes for, they failed, and those I didn't have hopes for succeeded. And I think the reason is that if I have high hopes, a lot of people also have high hopes for the same directory, because it's kind of I'm an average of the society, and whatever I think, most likely a lot of other people think, right? So we can all build the same thing. So this is the idea: just use technical method, like find keyword with high traffic, search for it. If it doesn't have any directory on the first page of Google, go and build it. And you can do that for 10 ideas. Like, it's cheap, it's fast. You do it for 10 ideas, and then you drop 7 and you push harder on 3.
How do you come up with the keywords? Like, how do you know what are the keywords that are highly trafficked?
Yeah, so it is. It's boring. I asked ChatGPT.
So, what would be an example prompt that you'd use with ChatGPT?
I give you the real one. So I want to have a directory. So usually I launch directories to help my other SaaS tools to bring traffic. So, and then I had this couple of dev tools, like I have DevHunt and Float UI, and I want to drive traffic there. So I want to build a directory for developers. So I just asked ChatGPT. I said, I have this, and I want this audience. Give me 20 ideas. And gave me 20 ideas. And then I just tested all 20, and one was great.
Right.
So it's it feels like a steal. Like, it feels a bit boring, like sometimes too easy. But it works. It works. I think a lot of the times founders think that it's things have to be hard. I think things don't have to be hard, but you have to do the right things. But doing the right things is hard, right? So that's kind of the thing.
Well, I think what it is great entrepreneurs bet heavily when the odds are stacked in their favor. So what you're doing, the process that you're mentioning is pretty methodical. Like, there's a lot of steps associated with it. So it's less creative in that sense. It's less, I'm taking a blank canvas and I'm drawing something beautiful and putting it out into the world. And it's more like a science experiment. But what it does is, when you use things like Google Keyword Planner, is it reduces your risk and allows you to build something when the odds are stacked in your favor. You know that with a certain percent of probability that this is going to hit some level of success. And of course, it's going to be a numbers game. So just like, betting, it's just, you have to, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that you're going to hit ChatGPT with our high search terms directory stuff, and then you pick the first one and it happens to, work. I think this is something that you have to apply a portfolio approach, try multiple of them. But I think the key is you're reducing risk along the way.